The Chief Election Commissioner today came out all guns blazing, defending the electronic voting machine and the electoral process, insisting that the EVMs cannot be tampered with and that polling agents of every political party are part of that entire poll process from the beginning to the end. He explained in detail the entire process before announcing dates for Delhi Assembly elections.
Election Commission's big EVM defense. Poll panel response to doubters. Election Commission declares EVMs can't be rigged.
EVMs are foolproof devices for counting. Allegations of tampering are baseless.
From tampering to turnout. Will EVM raga end now? That is a big focus on the NewsTrack.
So you heard the Chief Election Commissioner there. He stoutly defended the entire electoral process, insisting that the process is transparent, fair, tamper-proof and foolproof. There are about 10,50,000 polling booths across the country. EVMs are commissioned just about a week or so before the polling day, and the process is all done in the presence of party polling agents. They're also a part of the mock polls. Even the battery that's put in EVMs is in the presence of agents. Now, as he explained this entire process, the question remains, will it end the EVM raga of the losing side? That remains a big question. So ahead of Delhi elections, the Chief Election Commissioner rubbished all claims of electoral roll manipulation, tampering of EVMs and alleged irregularities in voter turnout and poll numbers. The poll panel issued a point-by-point rebuttal. The Chief Election Commissioner, Rajiv Kumar, insisting that every step of the election process is conducted in a closely coordinated manner and in close coordination with political parties, and their polling agents are all a part of it to ensure complete transparency. The question remains, will this stop the opposition, especially the losing side, from raising the EVM bogey and end the EVM debate finally?
आरोपों और इल्जामात का दौर चले कोई गिला नहीं। आरोप और इल्जामात का दौर चले कोई गिला नहीं। झूठ के गुब्बारों को बुलंदी मिले कोई शिकवा नहीं। हर परिणाम में प्रमाण देते हैं, पर वो बिना सबूत शक की नई दुनिया रौनक करते हैं, और शक का इलाज तो हकीम लुकमान के पास भी नहीं।
A poetic response from the Chief Election Commissioner to an explosive political controversy. While announcing the dates for the Delhi Assembly elections, the poll panel responded to questions raised by the opposition, specifically the Congress on election integrity.
Actually, right to question is inbuilt in democracy. It's an inherent right. We respect this. We respect this right. We feel that question करना और उसका जवाब देना हमारी जिम्मेदारी है।
First, the Election Commissioner rubbished charges of EVM tampering.
There is no question of introducing virus or bug in the EVM. There is no question of invalid votes in the EVM. No rigging is possible. No alteration in results is possible by activating a Trojan horse or a virus. Evidence inspires confidence of the court that they are tamper-proof. EVMs are foolproof devices for counting. Allegations of tampering are baseless.
The Election Commission has declared that EVMs are not hackable.
चुनाव की तारीख से 7 या 8 दिन पहले EVMs को कमीशन किया जाता है, उसमें सिंबल डाले जाते हैं, वो एजेंट के सामने डाले जाते हैं। उसके बाद में उसको मॉक पोल करने की छूट होती है। वो उसी दिन मॉक पोल करके देख लें, सिंबल ठीक पड़ गए, उसी दिन उसमें नई बैटरी डाली जाती है, उसी दिन वो बैटरी सबके सामने में सील होती है।
Addressing concerns about voter turnout being manipulated, the Chief Election Commissioner said that it is impossible to change the data.
करोड़ सौ वोट बढ़ा दिए गए, शाम 5 से 6 बजे के बीच बताइए कि लंबी लंबी कतारें कहाँ थी, हमें सीसीटीवी दिखाइए, इस तरह के प्रश्न हमसे पूछे गए. It's a misconceived narrative.
Since the Maharashtra poll surprise, the opposition's EVM doubters became vocal again. Will the Election Commission's clarification be enough to put the EVM debate to rest? Bureau Report, India Today.
So Election Commission officers insist EVM is one of India's best or one of India's major success stories, and this story must travel across the world. It's tamper-proof. The technology is made in India. It's tarnished by the losing side election after election. But will this clarification by the Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar today and by several former CECs end the tarnishing of India's poll process? Joining me on this special broadcast is Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, former Chief Election Commissioner of India. And there were several irregularities which were alleged, and that was set right when he was the CEC of India. Sanjay Jha, formerly with the Congress party, now a political analyst, joins us on the show. Tuhin Sinha represents the BJP. Rajat Sethi joins us as a political analyst. I want to begin by taking some questions to Dr. Qureshi first. Of course, my request to Dr. Qureshi is to remain with us even through the debate to settle issues that may be left unsettled even now. Dr. Qureshi, have political parties and the parties on the losing side, election after election, irrespective of what party it may have been, have they been tarnishing India's election process and the EVMs that the nation otherwise should be so proud of?
Well, if political parties have been questioning the EVM, not with the intention of tarnishing the image, although that may be the result of that questioning. Ever since the EVM was introduced in 1982, they were subjected to criticism. They went up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court declared it illegal for a technical reason that it was not mentioned in the law. Once it was brought onto the statute, in 1998. After that, every state election has been held with EVM. From 2004, every general election has been held with EVM. The other important thing is that every single party, I emphasize, has questioned the EVM at one point or the other, and they have won by the same machine later on. So therefore, we cannot single out any party. They have all been guilty of this. And repeatedly, Election Commission has proved that EVMs have so many built-in checks, inbuilt technology checks, and also administrative checks.
Okay.
For instance, there are 3 mock polls, and even the last thing when the machine is distributed to be sent to the polling station on the eve of the poll tomorrow, nobody knows. Even the Election Commission doesn't know which machine will go where. So therefore, there are enough checks to prove that these machines are dependable, reliable. In fact, even at the 2009, when the BJP itself was the most vocal critic, they wrote a book also.
On it, yes.
And we called an all-party meeting in 2010. I was then in the chair. And it was led by Chandrababu Naidu, who was a technology-savvy chief minister.
Yes.
Even he said that we are not saying that the results can be manipulated. All we are saying that this procedure is not transparent. So we asked him, what is that transparency that you want? He says, introduce VVPAT. And believe me, in the same meeting, in the all-party meeting, we took a decision that, okay, if we will go for VVPAT, and that is what we have been using.
So, Dr. Qureshi, what do you make of the CEC's defense that EVMs cannot be tampered with? Even the battery is put in front of agents. The entire process from the selection of the EVM, you said that's complete random selection of EVMs, to the counting of votes, everything is monitored and everything is transparent. Has he settled all questions? Would you have addressed this issue somewhat differently?
No. I think he had addressed or tried to address every issue in the press conference, which is what I have always been advising him to do. That if there is a controversy, the best thing is to call a press conference and explain. and and I only heard in the news that he said 42 judicial cases have cleared the EVM. So it is we should take all complaints very seriously, and we should answer them convincingly. That has to be done. And personally, even I would have I have been defending the EVM
Yes.
always, and even today I would like to defend the EVM. The other controversies about electoral roll and others are a separate matter on which we can have a discussion.
No, in fact, that's the point I was coming to. But I want to stay with the EVM for a moment. Is there any possibility whatsoever at any stage in this entire process that tampering can be done? That you vote for party A, but your vote goes to party B? Because in the past 10 years, several instances have, the losing side have said, whatever button you press, vote goes to party XYZ.
Well, those cases, of course, now and then these cases come up. But imagine 1 million machines, 1 million polling stations, and 2 million machines. If 5 cases of this kind crop up, these are aberrations rather than manipulation of the EVM. And I would not condemn EVM for such cases, which may have happened for technology reasons.
Okay, Dr. Qureshi, while shifting the machine from point A to point B, or at the strong room, or what do you make of these allegations that results are slowed down? What do you make of the complaint that is made that post 5 p.m. there's a sudden burst of polling? The ECEC sought to answer some of these questions. Was he able to allay the apprehensions in your view?
Well, I did not hear the press conference. I was in a meeting in the whole day. But the fact is that it is quite possible that after 5 p.m., so there is a increase in the voting percentage, because there are people in the queue, particularly in summer months. Because to avoid heat, people come late in the evening, about 4:30 or 5, and even if there are 200, 300 people in the queue at the appointed time, 5 o'clock or 5:30 or whatever is the time, they are allowed to vote till the end of the poll, which can be 2 hours, 3 hours later. And that is why when in our time, we used to have a press conference at 5:30 and announce the turnout and make it very clear that this is tentative.
Okay. Sir, I want you to stay on with me for a moment. Okay, sir, stay on with me. My request to you is to stay on. I now want to throw it open for a wider discussion on this broadcast. Sanjay Jha, Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress Party president, after the debacle in Maharashtra, argued in favor of return of the paper ballot. After the clarification by the CEC, in your appreciation, would Congress apprehensions be allayed?
Gaurav, good evening. I think I'm so glad that Mr. Qureshi is on the panel, because he's the one authoritative, authentic source with credibility who will not have any political partisanship on this entire debate. I want to make one point, Gaurav, and that worries me as a citizen of this country. This is not about Congress and BJP, etc. That the Rajiv Kumar waxed eloquent on the EVM. He has got every right to do that. Even Donald Trump can argue that he's the most spiritually enlightened man after Dalai Lama. That's fine. Everyone has the fundamental right to do that. But the question remains unanswered. Why is it that there are many people I know in Mumbai, and I live in Mumbai, I'm a voter in Mumbai, Gaurav. Why is it, and this is my question through you to Mr. Rajiv Kumar, who I hope watches this program, if not live in a recording. Why is it that an individual who has lived in the same building, in the same apartment, and he was voted in several elections in that particular constituency, why does he suddenly come to vote and find that his name is missing in the electoral rolls? I'm not going to mention to you the community or the caste or the identity of the individual, but I leave the Election Commission to answer this question, because this to me is not intriguing. It is not an aberration. This appears to me a serious issue in any democracy. Okay. And Gaurav, you're a veteran. Gaurav, you're a veteran. It is not just about EVM and etc. I have a lot of respect for Qureshi ji, but since I'm part of some engagement in the tech world, I can tell you this: there is no system in the world no matter how foolproof that it may be on the face of it, that in the age of AI and several other, hackathons that cannot be broken into, the Democratic National Committee got broken into, the Pentagon got broken into, and this cyber warfare, as you know very, very well, is the latest threat in cross-border terrorism.
Sir, you've raised two very pertinent points. I want a political response, from Tuhin Sinha, but just on the EVM, so that it doesn't get lost in that entire thing. Can I request Dr. Qureshi, as an expert and as someone who's dealt with all of these, to respond to the 2 points you've raised? One was the electoral rolls, and the other was AI and hackathon. So let's take it one by one. Dr. Qureshi,
right.
the political point, and my apologies, but since it needs to be answered, sir, names missing from electoral rolls. Now, is this done by agenda, and are there several ways of checks and balances to ensure that your name is not deleted from the electoral rolls?
Yeah, Mr. Sanjay Jha has raised this a very important issue. But as I said, this is different from EVM. It's an issue in itself and a wider issue, according to me. Even when I was the CEC, I used to say that we have tackled all kinds of problems. The electoral roll is our soft underbelly. That is the expression I use, because that was our weakness. And at the time, to defend the Election Commission issues advertisements for months on end in different languages to say, asking you to check your roles, because Election Commission also doesn't, while it trusts its staff, it also at one level doesn't trust the staff, because BLO can get mixed up, or there could be a computer error. There can be for a name missing, which is why Election Commission spends lakhs of rupees to tell you to check your roles, but people don't check the roles. So I think EC cannot be blamed for this. That's something which we have to be conscious of.
What about the hackathon? And in today's day and age, when Pentagon, as Sanjay Jha puts it, if their computers can be hacked, if their systems can be hacked, EVMs can be hacked. Respond to that, sir.
No. The EVM is a very broad term for electronic voting machine, and there are hundreds of types of machines. Even, a couple of months ago, Elon Musk said that after the US election, that the EVM could have been hacked. And I responded on his own X and what is Twitter, that he may be talking of US machines. He could not be talking of Indian machines. We have so many checks and balances which have been explained to the courts, which have been explained to the people. Therefore, at least I believe that Indian EVMs are quite safe. And
is that because Indian EVMs are stand-alone machines, that there is no outside interface, so there is no way a hacker can get into those EVMs unless he's physically lifting the machine, and even then it's a chip that can only be written once. Do I understand that correctly, sir?
Yeah, correctly. At the same time, I would not like to say that election through EVM are totally safe, because there used to be booth capturing once upon a time. At that time, ballot boxes used to be captured, and now EVM can be captured. And for instance, we saw some examples at 4 o'clock. The police told the people in the queue that the poll is over, get lost, go home. And after that, what happened? Well, if physically booth is captured and buttons are pressed slyly, well, that is a possibility. It used to happen 20 years ago in the case of ballot boxes. It can happen now.
Fair enough. Tuhin Sinha, respond to this. When this point is being made that batteries may be inserted in the machine in front of polling agent, in front of all political parties, but why do some batteries have 99% charge and only batteries that had 99% BJP won, those with 60 and 70% the Congress won? That's the complaint that was filed by the Congress party after Haryana elections, sir.
Well, good evening, Gaurav. Good evening, everybody. These are absurd charges. These are, technical points which are best answered time and again by the Chief Election Commissioner. For me, the way I look at it, EVM today, at least for the Congress party and for my friend Sanjay Jha, it has become an egregious victimhood mindset. time and again, it has been explained that this is a standalone device with zero internet connectivity. So number one, the hacking, the possibility of hacking is almost nil. As of today, 4.5 crore verified VVPATs have been, examined. There is zero anomaly which has been discovered. Plus, there is a double randomization concept. When the EVM is first sent out, you don't know, number one, which constituency will get that, and number two, which booth in that constituency. So these are exemplary safeguards, which no other country provides. And that is the reason why we say that, the grouses of the opposition is nothing but a victimhood mindset. Go back 3 decades ago, it was Rajiv Gandhi after the 1989 election who would say there are problems with the ballot boxes, and that is why we need EVM. Today, time has come a full circle because they know that they cannot, get back their political fortune back. They are blaming the EVM. I will just give you one example. In Indonesia, a small country of the size of Indonesia, in 2021, when elections were held through ballot boxes, some 270 workers had died due to exhaustion in the counting process. So imagine in India, it would take many months to complete the counting process, and that is exactly what they want.
It did not take months. We've had elections with ballot boxes. We've reported on that. We've seen that. We've seen that on TV. But before I bring in Rajat Sethi, Sanjay Jha, you wanted to respond. So that hacking, according to Dr. Qureshi and according to Rajiv Kumar, the current CEC, is not possible. It's a standalone machine. There is no way a hacker can get into it, sir.
But, Gaurav, as Mr. Qureshi correctly pointed out, even an EVM as a unit can be hijacked. And
so a hijacking is different from a hacking, sir.
No, 1 minute. What I mean to say is the abuse can happen in many forms. One of them can be infiltration or hacking. The other is what he also publicly stated. I think that's a very, very critical statement, Gaurav, that he made, that an EVM can be also kind of captured and manipulated by putting in fictitious votes. But here is my answer to Tuhin Sinha, because I think it's important. He made a Freudian slip here. He said the counting would take months. He's wrong, and I'm glad you corrected him, Gaurav, because the solution to the problem, and if Mr. Qureshi is on the panel, he can support or corroborate what I'm saying. The solution to the problem is 100% VVPAT reconciliation with the EVM. And all political parties are saying it. The only party, Gaurav, that opposes that is the BJP, which is intriguing, which is a mystery, because all it will take
I'll explain you why.
3 or 4 more days of counting, and nobody will contest the result.
Sure, why 3 or 4 days more. Rajat Sethi, Tuhin Sinha also wants to respond, but Rajat Sethi, before I bring in Mr. Qureshi, Rajat Sethi, so what if it takes a couple of more days? In the past, we've seen elections where results took 3 days, 4 days to come, and we'd watch that entire process. That's the beauty of democracy.
See, certainly, I don't have an issue, and I think Election Commission has clear provisions that if you want to do counting for all VVPATs, you can do that. You need to make a nominal payment. The candidate or whosoever holds grievance against the counting process can do that. The problem is, and this is an entirety of all kinds of political people out there, when they lose an election, they need to face their supporters.
Yes.
The easiest way is why did Netaji fail an election is to blame the EVM. That's the best way, best excuse, so that you can keep the morale going. This is, therefore, if you, replace this with any kind of system, the system will be attacked. Because nobody wants to look inside, look within. Why did they lose an election? That's
so
number
it's a loser's lament. Whoever loses, whether it was BJP in 2009 or Congress in 2014,
Absolutely.
19 and 24, they're blaming the machine.
Point. There's another important point. See, so far, we have seen that, again, no disrespect to liberal arts, but only people who have studied arts or are lawyers are commenting about technical aspects of hackability of EVM. What does even hacking mean? These people don't even know H of hacking. Had there been scientists, computer scientists, etc., speaking about the machine, talking about publishing papers, peer-reviewed papers, then I would have at least looked into it more seriously. But here, these bunch of lawyers are trying to, who don't even understand what a read-only memory means, are trying to claim that, okay, there will be some magic box which will come in and hack the whole system. Or, I've heard absurd things that ever since Jio towers, mobile towers have been erected, Reliance is trying to hack on behalf of the BJP. Come on, guys. You cannot continue this absurdity and not look within Or if you want to genuinely do that, have an array of computer scientists who support the Congress party and come up with a white paper.
Okay, Sanjay Jha wants to
Let's
quickly
challenge the
respond before I
system
bring in
then.
Dr. Qureshi. Before I bring in Dr. Qureshi, Sanjay Jha, quickly respond to the point that that machine cannot be hacked. And if you're talking about hijacking or a booth capturing, that's a law and order issue that needs to be dealt with separately. Why tarnish the image of the made in India electronic voting machine for that?
Yeah. Gaurav, I'm not going to make any sly insinuations on the technical genius of the man who just spoke before me. But here is the truth. The truth is when you look at Pegasus software, okay, for which now Israel and the NSO has to answer because the US courts have questioned them, is that spyware can literally be on a mobile phone.
This is the most bizarre logic you can give.
Will you please be quiet?
Yes, it's the same as do an apple-to-apple comparison. Do not hoodwink the audience.
Okay.
I'm not getting into a slug.
One by one. I'll get Dr. Qureshi because I want our viewers. I don't mind what political parties say, and political parties must make their point and analysts. But Dr. Qureshi would be the last word would ultimately tell the viewers what's the correct aspect. But go on, Mr. Jha, complete your point, sir.
Yeah. So, Gaurav, my simple point is that today spying, surveillance is the kind of technology that is evolving so fast that you and I will think we are watching a Hollywood film. I mean, Pegasus, where this government has been so dodgy. You see, one thing that we need to put in the domain here, this government's credibility is at an all-time low from the very beginning. Surveillance is a worry. On Pegasus, they did not even tell you in Parliament whether they have bought it or not. And
Fair
it's
enough.
a spyware.
So you're linking Pegasus to the EVM.
Let me get entire history.
You're linking Pegasus to the EVM. Sir, I'm on a very specific issue of the electronic voting machine today. And Dr. Qureshi, Pegasus spyware, can it infect, attack, target, manipulate the electronic voting machine of India?
I'm not saying directly with the EVM, but I'm just telling you the threat from this government.
Okay.
Pegasus is a
technological bankruptcy.
Okay, Dr. Qureshi.
Yeah. You're a right-wing conspiracy theorist.
Only Dr. Qureshi for the moment, sir, so that our viewers, when they leave this debate, at least they have facts with them and they go back with pure facts that come from the former Chief Election Commissioner of India, a man of unimpeachable integrity. Dr. Qureshi, go on, sir.
Yeah, Pegasus is a very, very serious issue, and I hope it is taken to its logical conclusion. But while it can affect your telephone, because it is connected with internet, since EVM is not connected with anything, even Pegasus cannot penetrate. Of course, if the machine is given to those people and they can physically plant something in it, which is not possible because there is custodial security. Like a very, very strong custodial security from factory to the strong room. It is always guarded by the paramilitary forces around the year, and political parties and their agents are expected and they're requested to guard the strong room. We don't trust our own people for obvious reasons. We would like you to guard it. We have appointed BLOs, but we have also created the post of BLA, both legal legend, so that you keep an eye on our BLOs.
Okay.
But you don't appoint them. So, we want all kinds of checks because EC is the custodian of the electoral system. And we have done everything possible. But, earlier the mention was made of the ballot paper.
Yes.
I find it very, very funny because why ballot papers were abandoned 20 years ago? Because of the booth capturing. Do you think the same people who used to capture ballot boxes then have now become saints and they will not do it again? Yeah, remember in Chandigarh, just 40 ballot papers were involved. Just 40 ballot papers. And what happened? Even they were attempted to be manipulated. Therefore, ballot paper would lead to bigger problems. We have to improve our own system. Like, for instance, VVPAT counting, that was an issue. We haven't yet discussed the solution. Even if I have been saying that even if for national credibility, we have to count 100% of the VVPAT. It will take one extra day. Doesn't matter. People wait for 3 months for the results. So, but people's doubt have to be set at rest.
Okay.
So that's a very serious matter.
So that's an interesting point you make. Okay, Tuhin Sinha wants to come in. One
And
election
while
have
the
100%
100%
VVPAT counting is Dr. Qureshi's suggestion.
No, while that can certainly be considered, check out with any student of statistics, whether it is 5 or whether it is 100%, the result would be the same. And that is why 4.5 crore, after counting 4.5 crore verified VVP patch, after examining them, you find no anomalies. So that will not make a difference. But yes, that can certainly be considered. The point is, look at the way Sanjay Jha has changed his goalpost 3 times on the show. He started with voter list. Then he came to EVM, then he came to Pegasus, and the intent of the government. This is what this opposition is all about. They have a victimhood mindset. They cannot. Yes, one last point. We also had problems. We also had issues with the EVM at one point of time.
Yes.
But the moment the Supreme Court said that VVPAT should be, should be introduced as a solution, we have never questioned the EVM since, and that is the way it should be.
Okay, so VVPAT and Dr. Qureshi can explain it much better for the benefit of some of our viewers who may not know. Most of our viewers know it's a voter verifiable paper audit trail. So there is a voter verifiable paper audit trail that you press whatever button you may want to press, whatever party, you see it's gone in favor of the same party. Isn't that VVPAT? And it's done at 5%, sir. And in case any candidate is not satisfied, he can pay some money and get 100% VVPAT. Isn't that the law of the land, sir? Dr. Qureshi?
Yeah, it may be the law of the land, but I am not particularly happy with this. I would rather suggest something totally different.
Go on,
even you don't have to count even 100% VVPAT. Current rule was that 5 machines in every assembly constituencies, which means from 200 to 300 constituency, 5 machines, which is just about 2%. They have to be counted. I have another alternative formulation that instead of 5, count only 4. But instead of randomly selecting them, ask the 2 runners up to pick up the suspected machines. And I take this analogy from cricket, with which the whole India is familiar, DRS system.
Yes.
You go to the third umpire only when you are suspecting a decision. Randomly 10% LBW is going upstairs will lead to nothing. Only suspected machines must be counted. If a machine which I have suspected and I said I'm keen that they should be counted, and if it is counted and found correct, my satisfaction will go up.
Fair enough. Sanjay Jha, would that satisfy whichever party loses? I'm not saying party A, B, C or D. Whichever party loses, or do this, but then don't tarnish the entire electoral process, or then say, let's reinvent the wheel, let's go back to the bullock cart, let's once again have your ballot paper voting.
Absolutely. Gaurav, this has been a very constructive debate because Mr. Qureshi is a man of the highest integrity. And I recommended as well that there should be 100% VVPAT reconciliation with the EVM. And the BJP has agreed to it. So now, Mr. Tuhin Sinha, can you kindly convey to Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah that you, as a senior spokesperson of your party, agree with this recommendation? Why are you opposing it in the courts? Why are you on the side of the opposition parties? Why is the BJP the only party that opposes it? That's $1 million question.
Dr. Qureshi said the suspect ballot machines or the suspect EVMs can be 100%, if I heard him correctly. Isn't that what you meant, Dr. Qureshi? So that, our viewers, I want our viewers to go back with something tangible from this debate, that next time when a political leader questions the EVM, at least they know it's a loser's lament and the machine is fine. Dr. Qureshi, complete your point before I bring in Tuhin Sinha and Rajat Sethi, sir.
No, I would like to clarify that the current rule is that 5 machines are randomly selected for VVPAT count. Instead of randomly selecting them, allow the 2 top runners-up to pick up those machines, because they will pick up only those machines about which they are suspicious.
Okay.
And that is what will give them satisfaction, because random selection, you will pick up an innocent machine, that will give you an innocent answer, and you will think everything is hunky-dory.
Okay, Tuhin Sinha, you wanted to come in, and then Rajat Sethi.
Just a small clarification, because my friend was trying to misquote me. I said, number 1, it is unnecessary, the 100% VVPAT verification, because statistics does not demand so. Number 2, if the Congress party is willing to give a written affidavit that it will stop demonizing India's democracy and India's EVM, then obviously we might consider that. at the end of the day, the Election Commission is the authority which has to take a stand.
Okay.
The Congress party has said that in
one by one.
writing.
Rajat Sethi, you wanted to come in. You wanted to come in because you have leaders like Akhilesh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party who say, even if I win all 80 seats in Uttar Pradesh, I will still say paper ballot. I still do not trust the EVM.
See, I come from Uttar Pradesh. You know, that party has been steadfastly against anything to do with tech. So let's forget about Samajwadi Party. They were opposing, they used to shut down our schools to oppose computer induction in the school libraries. So forget about Samajwadi Party. But a serious issue, what Qureshi Saab is saying, again, the provision is there. You can make that payment if you're genuinely concerned about even one EVM machine. You can actually pay 46,000 rupees. I think that's the amount to have the recount, VVPAT-based recount for the entire booth. Anybody can do that. And let me tell you, had there been an iota of discrepancy, the whole country would have burned. I'm telling you, that's the sacrosanct process of election commission and the election process of our country. And this is how, you know, all the political participants are so much on the edge. Nobody's going to leave, even there is an iota of discrepancy anywhere. And this is what I am trying to again tell you. Do not try to create fear of Pegasus. One of your viewers just sent me a message saying that please ask Sanjay Jha, hand him over a typewriter and give him a Pegasus software and ask him to hack the typewriter. It is the same sort of comparison that he's trying to do between a smartphone and an EVM. Thank you.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, quickly respond before I bring in Dr. Qureshi for the last word on this part of the show.
Yeah, I will not respond to that stupid statement for the simple reason
that's a viewer statement. So you're calling a viewer stupid. So please mind your words. Don't take the country for granted, Mr. Sanjay Jha. You are not a...
Okay.
See, first of all, Sanjay Jha, you are not somebody who sits on a higher moral plank and we small people out there.
Okay, one by one. Gentlemen, one by one.
Have some respect. Sanjay Jha needs to have some respect.
Okay.
Sanjay Jha lacks basic decency. Sanjay Jha is the most irritating panelist that exists.
No personal attacks on either guest. You know, we've had a beautiful debate. We've had a wonderful debate.
Unbecoming of a fellow panelist.
Okay. I don't want it to come to this, especially at the fag end.
Yeah. Gaurav, you have to stop him
he
from
said he used the word Gaurav stupid.
Yes,
he needs to backtrack his word, otherwise I'm not going to allow him to speak.
He will keep on and
absolutely, completely avoidable. Sanjay Jha, please complete your point, sir. You know, I requested Dr. Qureshi to stay on till the end so that in case there are any questions, any niggles, any doubts, he'll address them till the end so that when our viewers, go back from this debate, they know whether the EVM is safe or not. And Dr. Qureshi then has the last word on this. But go on, Sanjay Jha, please complete your point, sir.
Yeah. My short point is credibility of a government. This is a government, and Gaurav, you got to pay attention to this. Institutions of this country are dead under Narendra Modi's government.
Sir, but today the debate is purely on the electronic voting machines, sir. My debate is on the EVM and the electoral roll, and both two issues that have been raised by the opposition extensively, sir. On the Narendra Modi government, we'll have a bigger debate on another day. Today, permit me to stay on the issue of EVM, electoral rolls, sir.
Okay, fine. The point I'm making, Gaurav, is this issue is inextricably intertwined with the Election Commission as an independent body. And I will remind you once again, the constitution of the EC itself changed under Modi, right? Where suddenly the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India was removed and a government cabinet minister came into play. It's about intent, mansha, niyat. And this government therefore cannot be trusted. And therefore I suggest 100% VVPAT reconciliation that I think even Mr. Qureshi agrees with as the only way forward.
Since you've made a political point, Tuhin Sinha, please respond before I bring in Dr. Qureshi on the aspect of the EVM and the electoral rolls, but respond to the political point, Tuhin Sinha.
No, I mean, it has become their habit to play the victim. Where have we, we have not even used Article 356, which they misused all of 100 times, even once. So to blame Modi ji and to blame that democracy is in danger, EVM is in danger, if the election we evolve over a period of time, and if the chief election commissioner selection of the chief election commissioner's process has changed, it was due for a very long time. I don't think that has anything to do with the EVM, or obviously it's one of the goalpost shifting tactics which Sanjay has adopted once again.
Okay, on the aspect of can the institution of the Election Commission be trusted, or is that in doubt? So is this, Dr. Qureshi, in your view, changing the goalpost from the EVM to the electoral roll to the Election Commission, or would you want to respond to the organization that you were a part of and headed, sir?
Ask Ashok Lavasa.
Dr. Qureshi.
Obviously any doubts or aspersions on the Election Commission are very unfortunate for the country. But we must remember there were times when there were no allegations, where there are times when allegation after allegations are coming up. So what has changed? That cannot also be brushed under the carpet. We have to see. And I think the answer lies in being totally transparent. We should not dilly-dally giving the answers. If there are complaints about electoral rolls, Election Commission should explain it. And every complaint should be taken very, very seriously. And the possibility of electoral roll complaints is very, very high. And I think that issue has not been discussed adequately. What are the possibilities in the electoral roll going wrong, and what is the way out? The best thing is, of course, citizens' alertness, on which Election Commission spends lakhs of rupees alerting the please check your roll. In fact, I don't know, out of the 4 or 5 people on the panel here, how many have checked their roll? If not, please do it now.
I am on the voters list, and I'm very proud of that fact, and I check it each time.
Yes. So that, that is the sensible thing to do. That is what all of us should do. And Election Commission knows that something can happen. Something mischievous can happen. Something can be computer error. But whatever the reason, if your name goes missing, no power on earth can enable you to vote. Which is why it is important that you keep an eye. And every illiterate person maybe cannot. The political parties should appoint, volunteers in every mohalla. They should see on your behalf and make timely correction.
I will let that be the last word on this part of the show. These issues tackled by the Election Commissioner, and that is why we had Dr. S.Y. Qureshi on this broadcast to address the issue of the EVM and the electoral rolls. Remain vigilant. In a democracy, that's the most powerful weapon in our hand. We raise our voice. To all my guests, many, many thanks for joining me for this civil debate that we had here on India Today. Hours after the resignation of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, after he announced that he would be stepping down as the Liberal Party leader and as Prime Minister, the moment the Liberal Party elects a new leader, US President-elect Donald Trump on Monday renewed his offer of making Canada the 51st state of the United States of America. Remember, Donald Trump has said this before, just when Justin Trudeau flew down to Mar-a-Lago and met him after his electoral victory. But is this just a jibe at Justin Trudeau? Is this just poking Canada, or is there a wider message here, especially when you link it to what's the statement on Greenland and the war for control of the Arctic region?
Donald Trump's goal number 1 is expansion of the United States. US President-elect Donald Trump reignites merge with the US drive for Canada. Moments after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation, Trump mocked in a social media post offering Canada once again the option to merge with the United States. Trump renewed his offer and said there will be no tariffs if Canada and US merge, claiming many in Canada love being the 51st state.
I think Trump said it mostly just to mess with Justin Trudeau because over the last few years when Donald Trump wasn't the president, Trudeau, thinking that Donald Trump wasn't going to come back, has used Trump's name as basically an insult for all of his political opponents. He's been extremely cutting towards Trump. And then so since Trump's come back, I think he's just been having a field day mocking Trudeau, especially seeing how bad Trudeau was doing in the polls. I don't think there's really that many Canadians who want to join the U.S., but I think there's a lot of Canadians that enjoy the jokes being made at Trudeau's expense by Donald Trump.
This is not for the first time Trump has openly asked for a merger. He had earlier called Justin Trudeau governor of the great state of Canada. In December, Donald Trump had also posted an AI image of himself posing with the Canadian flag. In another social media post, Trump also offered Denmark-controlled Greenland to merge with the US, even vowing to protect and cherish Greenland if it becomes a part of America. Trump has been eyeing to wrest Greenland from Denmark control for long.
Well, a lot of things could be done. I mean, essentially, it's a large real estate deal. A lot of things could be done. It's hurting Denmark very badly because they're losing almost $700 million a year carrying it. So they carry it at a great loss. And strategically for the United States, it would be nice. And we're a big ally of Denmark, and we help Denmark, and we protect Denmark, and we will.
Greenland boasts mineral, oil and natural gas wealth, but development has been slow, leaving its economy in trouble.
Here in Greenland, we need to have some growth. We need to have some economic growth and diversify our economy. And of course, we welcome our strong partners, like-minded nations as first. But if they don't invest, there's a lot of companies who also want to invest in this country.
Donald Trump is all set to assume office on January 20th. With Canada's crisis and Denmark's fragile economy, all eyes are on Trump's next move. Bureau Report, India Today.
So is Donald Trump just seeking some concessions from either Canada or Greenland, or is there a bigger strategic game here? Remember, Russia is already setting up bases in the region. China is already talking about the polar Silk Route with the polar ice melting. There's oil, there's gas, and there is territory. We'll get lots more on this big story in the days and weeks ahead. Of course, much more on India First at 10 p.m. tonight. But that is all I have for you on the News Track this evening. Many thanks for watching.